A minute ago, I got a text. It said zombies would appear in 3 hours. Countdown, 2 hours 59 minutes. I had no idea who sent it. Clutching my phone, I shook my head at the person at the door. Sorry, we're closed today. I work at this little convenience store. The owner has been missing for 15 days. I didn't know if the text was real, so I hesitated, then took out my phone and checked my balance. 35,000. I'd saved it from working last year for tuition. I gritted my teeth and made a call. I called Brother Lee, the guy who delivers to the store. Lee, it's Xiaogui from Zhenxing Market. Could you bring me a load of stuff? ASAP. I'll send you the list in a bit. After I hung up, I walked around the store checking stock. Rice and flour together, 50 bags. Instant noodles, all flavors, 30 boxes. Sausages and marinated eggs filled a whole shelf, and there were all kinds of snacks and cookies. The store still had plenty left. If it were just me, I could live on this for half a year. The only problem was, everyone knew this was a store. If zombies broke out, this much food would definitely bring trouble. I thought for a bit, then dug out an axe and a ladder, ready to tear down the sign out front. Then Lee's truck pulled up. What's going on, Xiaoguai? You guys closing down? Then why'd you ask me to deliver? I froze, not knowing what to say. If I said zombies were coming, he'd definitely think I was nuts. So I said our boss wanted to expand and renovate, so we were stocking up. Brother Lee didn't suspect a thing. He even came over and chatted. Those bats and axes you wanted were a real pain to find. Took me forever. My order had wiped out nearly half his stock, so he was in a great mood. Me, though, I couldn't smile at all. If that text was fake, then what I was doing right now was completely insane. I had Lee carry the goods up to the second floor storeroom. This building has 3 floors. I usually live on the second. The 3rd floor is empty. Meanwhile, the phone in my pocket kept vibrating. Texts kept coming in. Countdown, 2 hours 58 minutes. Countdown, 2 hours 21 minutes. In just over 40 minutes, I'd gotten more than 40 texts. If this was some prank, who'd be this persistent? Seeing the unloading was almost done, I couldn't help asking, Brother Lee, do you believe in the end of the world? What, the world's blowing up? Or a virus spreading, zombies surrounding the city? Man, if nothing's up, you should stay home these next few days. Ha 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 ha, you college kids think way too much. What kind of nonsense is that? Studied yourself stupid or what? Seeing he didn't believe me, I dropped it. After he left, I locked the front door and pulled down the shutter. I even piled a bunch of rocks at the entrance to make it look abandoned for ages, like one of those vacant shops. To be safe, I took a cab to a pharmacy and, under the clerk's weird stare, I almost emptied the whole place. Back at the store, everywhere except where I lived was stacked with supplies. Bottled water, instant noodles, boxed eggs, even hot pot base. I felt totally crazy. I shouldn't have believed a text like that. But half a month ago, the owner had said something similar. Things might get rough. If you're fine, stay home. After that, she vanished. Just then, my phone buzzed. I pulled it out and saw it was almost dead. I quickly started searching and found dozens of brand new power banks. Since I had no parents, I didn't have to worry about anyone else's safety. When the countdown had 20 minutes left, I turned on the TV. There was still nothing strange happening. Outside, the sun was still shining. Then after a while, when the clock struck 12, a sudden thunderclap sounded outside. The sky suddenly went dark. I rushed to the window and opened it, but couldn't see a thing. But the sounds from the street were clear. Damn, why'd it get dark all of a sudden? What's going on? An eclipse? Doesn't look like it. Holy, why the hell are you biting me? Screams broke out all over the street. Someone turned on a flashlight to look. I did too. Only then did I see below clearly. A woman had a man pinned down, hacking at him, biting and tearing at him like crazy. I covered my mouth and slammed the window shut. Zombies were real. A zombie outbreak had really happened. The trending headline read, "The sky suddenly went dark. Zombie outbreak." And there were comments from people everywhere. I was at the mall with my parents, and the second they walked out, they went crazy and started biting people. What the hell is going on? I'm hiding in the bathroom. I'm scared to go out. Holy crap, it's the end of the world, and I'm still at work. Those people seem to have turned into zombies. Everyone stay inside. Don't go out. When I kept scrolling down, the page was just blank. And that text warning me about the zombie outbreak had gone silent too. I put down my phone and grabbed a drumstick to eat. No matter what, I had to survive. Early the next morning, I found the internet was down. I was totally cut off, and there wasn't a single living soul on the street. Just then, I heard a light tapping at the window, and I cautiously moved closer. I cracked the window open a little, and suddenly a face appeared outside. It scared the hell out of me. Once I steadied myself, I saw it was a girl. She gripped the frame with both hands and pressed herself to the window, mouthing to me, "Don't be scared. I'm a good person." What kind of good person climbs into someone else's window? Not wanting trouble, I shut the window and turned back. "Wait, please, save me. Down there, it's full of zombies. Sir, I really have nowhere else to go. And don't you want to know where the zombies came from? I can tell you." I froze for a second. She looked serious. And she'd come in from outside, so maybe she really did know something. The girl was tiny and thin. Out there, she definitely couldn't protect herself. Besides, I'd stocked plenty of supplies, more than enough for 2 people to survive on. I thought it over and let her in. "Thanks. If it weren't for you, I'd be dead. If I'd known, I'd have worked at the supermarket too." When this zombie virus is over, my parents will repay you for sure. After talking, I learned the girl's name was Molly. She lived in the building next to the supermarket. Yesterday, she saw me taking down the sign and knew I was alone. So she climbed over along the outer wall, hoping to find something to eat. She had no idea where the zombies came from. She'd only said that to get me to open the window. I really have nowhere to go. My parents are both abroad. I'm all alone at home. Please don't make me leave. Don't worry, I won't. Right now, with things like this outside, sending you out would be a death sentence. I couldn't do that. After a little small talk, I gave her my bedroom. I took my pillow and went downstairs to sleep on the floor, and kept an eye on the street through the window. The window had one-way film, so the zombies couldn't see inside. And when they couldn't see living people, the zombies would just lean against the wall, motionless, no different from corpses. Near dusk, a military green SUV drove over. It broke the dead silence on the street. The zombies heard it and swarmed the vehicle. Several people got out, each holding an axe. They started chopping zombies with practiced moves. The zombies rushing them could hardly fight back. Crouched by the window, I felt something was off. These zombies seemed to be moving slower. So you noticed too, they weren't like this yesterday. Yesterday, I saw them rip a car door open just to eat someone. Yeah, before this, these zombies were really quick. When they lunged at people, you couldn't outrun them even in Chelsea boots. So how'd they turn into potatoes? Now you can hack them down however you want. After killing the nearby zombies, that group went to the convenience store across the street and started kicking the door. Listen up in there. Open the door if you know what's good for you, or we'll smash it down. Then don't expect to live. Those guys were holding axes. They were obviously there to steal supplies. I'd seen the staff at the shop across the street before. They were just some young kids. Out of fear, they actually opened the door. I could only watch helplessly as the clerks fell at their feet. Molly staggered back in terror. I quickly covered his mouth. In the apocalypse, people are way scarier than zombies. I pulled down the shutter, not wanting to see anymore. But halfway down, it suddenly went dark outside. The zombies that were dragging along a second ago suddenly got crazy fast. They didn't even have time to swing their axes before the zombies tackled them. Then it hit me. Zombies must fear light. In the light, they don't totally lose mobility, but they do slow down. Those people seemed to notice too. They shouted, "Turn on the lights! Quick!" But there were just too many zombies, and they didn't have time. Even after the lights came on, they were torn to pieces. I left the window and went to sleep. But then I saw Molly, terrified, pointing at the mall's second floor. I looked over and saw the second floor was lit. From the shape, it looked like a kid. He opened the window and cried for help. No parents beside him. He was clearly at the end of his rope. He's too dangerous alone. Can we save him? He's just a kid. He won't eat much. I can eat less. Molly grabbed my arm hard. I asked her, how long till sunrise? 13 more hours. We can't wait 13 hours. Come with me. Molly and I made a plan. It's dark now, and the zombies are way more active. Forcing our way through won't work. I found a Bluetooth speaker and a high-beam flashlight in the store. Zombies have bad eyesight, but they're very sensitive to sound. I had Molly climb back to her place through the window, then play music on the speaker to lure all the zombies on this street to one spot. Be careful. Wait till daylight, then climb back. Molly nodded. She was skinny, but really agile. In under 5 seconds, she'd climb back. Then music started next door. The second that song came on, the whole street felt like a battle was starting, and the zombies rushed over. But they couldn't climb stairs, so they could only circle the sound. Next up was me. I put on the bag I'd packed in advance. With the flashlight and axe in hand, I headed out. I didn't dare stop. After locking the door, I sprinted for the building across from me and got inside. Right away, I ran into a zombie about to go practice basketball. The flashlight made it stiff and sluggish, but it was still my first time facing a zombie. After a brief hesitation, I steeled myself and swung the axe. The zombie dropped. I quickly found the kid's place. Open up, quick. I'm here to save you. Before I even finished, he opened the door. Where are your mom and dad? Are you here alone? Uncle's hurt. Mom and dad still aren't home. I don't know what to do. I caught the key part right away. The hurt uncle. Had he been bitten by a zombie? The little boy led me into the bedroom. On the bed was a man in military uniform. His left arm was wrapped up, and blood was still seeping through. Brother, are you human or a zombie? You still alive? I'm from the building across. I saw the kid on the balcony and came over in case something happened. Once he saw I meant no harm, he sent the boy outside. Then he told me the zombie I just killed was Xiaotong's dad. He had just left the army and planned to find work nearby. He was staying at Xiaotong's dad's place for a few days. But the night it got dark, everyone on the street turned into zombies. Only the people who stayed inside made it through. Then your arm is? I cut it off myself. What? I was stunned. I could pretty much guess what happened. He got bitten protecting Xiaotong. But to keep from turning, he cut off his own arm. And now he's still lying here just fine. So that method worked. I dumped out all the food in my backpack. Bread, bottled water, snail rice noodles, everything. The guy was shocked. Where'd you get all this food? I said I worked at a supermarket before all this, so he stopped asking. Then I shared the food. Then I told them there were plenty of supplies in the store across the street. There were still 10 hours till dawn. Once it's light, I'll take you two over there. They all agreed. I went to the window, called out to Molly, and turned off the music. The zombies started wandering around aimlessly again. Early next morning, once I was sure they were moving slower, I headed out with some essentials. Brother Chen really was ex-military. Even with one arm gone, his agility and burst speed were way beyond mine. Dealing with slow zombies was no problem at all. We crossed the street smoothly, but just as we reached the entrance, a flower pot came flying out of nowhere. It went straight for Brother Chen's head. I yelled, "Watch out!" He dodged in a panic, but a bunch of zombies boxed him in. At that moment, 2 more zombies lunged at me too. I quickly blocked them with my suitcase, and with the kid to protect, the others took the chance to bite. But then a foot suddenly kicked one zombie flying a good 8 feet. I froze for a few seconds before I realized it was Molly. "Good thing I made it. You guys okay? How are you this good?" She said, a little embarrassed. "I've done taekwondo for over 10 years. Soon." We cleared out the zombies and got safely back upstairs. But I was seriously questioning my life. My head was full of Brother Chen dropping zombies with one axe, and Molly kicking one 8 feet. And when I faced zombies, I couldn't do anything. I wasn't trying to hide it from you. My mom said I couldn't tell boys I was good at fighting, or I'd never get a boyfriend. Geez, quit spacing out. Let's figure out where Brother Chen and Xiaotong can stay first. True. Molly lives on the 2nd floor, and the 1st floor is piled with too much stuff. Even sleeping on the floor, it only fits 2 people. It's fine. We'll sleep anywhere. No way. Xiaotong's still little. If she catches cold and gets sick, that'll be worse. Then I suddenly thought of the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor. It was empty, and I had the key. But it had always been the landlady's private space, and I'd never gone up there. But in a situation like this, and with the landlady missing, I couldn't worry about that. I went up to the 3rd floor alone. It was much fancier than the 2nd floor. 1 living room, 3 rooms total, 2 of them bedrooms. The last one was locked with a keypad. I hesitated, then entered 4 digits, 1102. The lock actually clicked open. The code was the landlady's birthday. I excitedly opened the door, but the next second, I was so shocked I almost passed out. It was a completely sealed room, and hanging neatly on the walls were guns, all guns. On day 5 of the outbreak, the landlady left me a supermarket, and upstairs I found an armory. Pistols, rifles, SMGs, it had everything, even heavy machine guns. Especially those few plants in the middle. They looked plain as could be, fragile even, but they gave off a terrifying vibe. But aren't these things illegal? Who exactly is the landlady? Then I noticed an envelope on the table. It said, "To my weird relative." It was a note from the landlady. Did she know I'd come up here? What was she trying to tell me? Full of questions, I opened it. The first line was, "Dummy, scared you, huh? They're all models. I'm just a figurine nerd, a law-abiding citizen. I don't break the law." I had mixed feelings. With things like this right now, even if the room were full of real guns, I wouldn't be scared. Since you got in, something probably happened. Those zombies have probably shown up too. The little supermarket is yours. As for how long you'll live, that's up to you. But you're too kind, so you probably won't last a month. No need to thank me. I was just helping on someone else's behalf. Still, kid, you actually remembered my birthday. Don't tell me you like me. If the future weren't so dangerous, I'd actually hate to part with you. Just a few lines, but they hit me hard. From what was in the envelope, it looked like the landlady was still alive, and things would get even more dangerous later. She said someone asked her to help look after me. Was that the same person who texted to warn me? I put the envelope away and locked the door. For now, I wasn't telling Molly and the others. There were 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor, enough to solve Brother Chen's lodging, so I took them upstairs. The 3rd floor bedrooms looked specially prepared. The bedding was all there, which saved a lot of trouble. Sunlight poured into the living room. Brother Chen sat by the window wiping his axe, and Molly sorted clothes. The kid chased a toy dugout downstairs. The chicks ran all over. In the apocalypse, it actually felt a little warm, but it didn't last. Brother Chen broke the mood. "Xiaogui, down there just now, did you see where that flower pot came from?" On the way back, everything was going fine. Then a flower pot suddenly crashed down. We almost got wiped out. Could the wind have blown it? No, that's impossible. For one thing, there was no wind then. Even if it was an accident, the angle couldn't be that exact. I only vaguely remembered the flower pot falling from the roof. Then it hit me. Oh no, someone's on the roof. Everyone jumped. Molly, keep an eye on the kid. Brother Chen, bring the axe and come check the roof with me. All the buildings here are pretty much the same. You can climb up to my roof to enjoy the view. And in the 3rd floor hall, there was a ladder leading to a small door up to the roof. Brother Chen and I were standing under it. We could clearly hear footsteps from the roof, on and off, and hushed voices. Brother Chen quietly gestured to me. Someone's there, prying the door. I nodded grimly. I should have guessed sooner. That day, we made too much noise stockpiling. Molly couldn't have been the only one who noticed. Those people knew I had food, but instead of asking for help, they were prying the door. They were probably planning to kill us and take the supplies. Brother Chen braced himself on the wall ladder and tried to climb up. I looked at his injured left hand. Even if he was a veteran, dealing with clumsy zombies was one thing. But if the other side was people just as quick, they'd be hard to handle, especially since we still didn't know how many there were or if they had weapons. Right after I said that, Brother Chen fell off the ladder. He gave a bitter smile and shook his head. I helped him up, and curses came from the roof. Sounded like they weren't making progress with the lock. Then a plan hit me. Brother Chen, they're in the open, we're hidden. We don't need to climb up. We'll wait here for them to come down. Then we'll catch them off guard and kill them. Brother Chen, take this. This is for you. What about you? I'll manage with whatever. After picking our weapons, Brother Chen, Molly, and I hid on the third floor. Those people chose to pry their way in from the roof instead of attacking head-on. That meant they were wary. They'd definitely wait till dark until we were asleep, then launch a sneak attack. I checked the time. There were still 3 hours till dark. Enough time to eat. I hauled out a box of food and happily stuffed myself. Meanwhile, the people on the roof were starving. They'd probably gone days without food, which was why they came to steal supplies. But right then, something unexpected happened. It got dark early, another half hour earlier than before. Once night fell, the zombies on the street got active again. If this keeps up, daylight will get shorter and shorter, and the pressure to survive will only keep growing. But now wasn't the time for that. Shui, there was already movement on the roof. We stared hard at the ladder leading to the roof. It was so quiet that even our breathing was loud. 5 minutes passed, and still no one came down from the roof. Molly gripped the floodlight tight. Then 10 more minutes passed, and I heard a click. Someone started climbing down the ladder. Molly quickly switched on the flashlight, and the beam flared up. They couldn't open their eyes from the glare. I clearly saw 3 people total. 2 were already down the ladder, and 1 was still on the roof. They were big guys, all over 30. Once their eyes adjusted, they charged like maniacs. Every swing of their cleavers went for the kill. These guys had come to murder us. Even though Brother Chen was quick, fighting 2 alone was clearly hard. Molly shoved the floodlight into my hands and joined the fight too. It was chaos, but I could still tell Chen and Molly were losing. Just then, the one on the roof came down the ladder too, ready to join in, and I shouted, "Everybody stop." I pulled the handgun I'd hidden in my pocket. "Drop what's in your hands, or I'll shoot right now." "Dad, don't shoot." "Kid, don't be rash, I'll drop my weapon." "Boss, don't believe him. Having a gun's illegal. That can't be real." He hit the mark. My heart skipped a beat, but I knew this was all about nerve. The calmer I looked, the less sure they were. "Go ahead and try. You only saw me stockpiling supplies." But did you ever think why? Even the zombie outbreak, I knew it in advance. So how could I not get a gun? Why do you get to kill us? You're wrong. I won't kill you. That's too bloody. I'll just shoot your limbs and toss you downstairs for the zombies. After saying that, I aimed at his thigh. He went pale in an instant. He instantly dropped the cleaver. "Boss, I was wrong. I didn't mean it. I wasn't even planning to come today. They were the ones greedy for your supplies." "What crap are you saying? I'll kill you first, you useless trash." The men started fighting among themselves, and Chen and Molly took the chance to subdue them. "How did you know the zombie outbreak was coming? And stockpile so much food? Tell me so I can die knowing." Text messages were one thing, but until I figured out why, I'd better not say. I didn't know zombies would break out. The reason I stocked so much food was that Singles Day was coming, and the supermarket needed extra stock. "Then where'd you get the gun?" I pulled Molly aside and quietly told her it was a model, because these guys were up to no good. We found some rope, tied them up, and threw them out to fend for themselves. After dealing with them, the next few days were pretty calm. The daylight hours also dropped from the original 10 to 12 hours down to 8. But thankfully, after it hit 8 hours, it didn't get any shorter. Molly sat by the window in the sun, but then she suddenly called us over in a panic. "Come quick, look at this. What's going on?" I was stunned by what I saw. It was daytime. Normally the zombies should have been slow in the sunlight, but now all the zombies had gathered together. They were running down the street from one end to the other, circling around, with one zombie leading them. Could this be a zombie horde? That lead zombie looked kind of strange. I stared at it for a while. Then I realized it wasn't a zombie at all, but a person dressed in rags. He was smeared all over with zombie guts, running and yelling for help. We rescued him, and he gave us a very important lead. Thank you. Otherwise I'd have died just now. That was terrifying. The one closest to me was this tall lady zombie. She came straight for my butt, clawing at it. If I hadn't dodged fast, she'd have gotten me. "Calm down. Why are you dressed like that? And where were you going?" "I ate all the food at home. I heard there's a shelter in the commercial district, with people guarding the place. But if you want their protection, you need gold or medicine to trade. Otherwise, you have to kill 10 zombies to get in." I wanted to use the zombies. I covered my scent with guts and killed 10 zombies, but got spotted. "That shelter you mentioned, how many people can it hold?" "I heard the mall's basement is huge. Big enough to feed thousands for a year. I stayed quiet. Really, I should have figured it. In a city this big, there are way too many supermarkets and malls to count. There've got to be plenty of survivors too. The zombie virus spreads, but they're afraid of light. If you're careful, it's not impossible to deal with them. The people who survived banded together to gather supplies that naturally formed so-called shelters, and their conditions were pretty easy to understand. The outbreak had just begun. Gold wouldn't lose value with the collapse of the money system, and medicine was essential. Anywhere people gather, they'll need medicine. As for killing zombies, that was to prove you could fight. No supplies and no muscle? You're trash. Of course the shelter wouldn't take you. The boss of this shelter is more rational than I expected. Eat slower. Don't choke. Thanks. I've been single over 20 years and no girl's ever been this nice to me. I'm so touched. Oh, right. What's your name? Just call me Sis. Or Xiaopong. Go take a shower first. You stink. Since there wasn't a spare room, Xiaopong stayed with me. After he finished showering, I asked where he'd heard about that shelter. Brother Guidon, this is my secret. Don't tell anyone. I actually saw it online. What nonsense are you talking about? The power's out everywhere. How'd you get online? I'm not lying. Take the 4G network we all use now. It's a kind of mobile communication. The key part is the base station. It receives and sends phone signals. The reason power outages affect signal is that the backup batteries ran out. And before the outbreak, I built a small base station myself. All those technical terms threw me off a little. At first, I thought keeping him in the store would be a burden, but now it looks like his expertise could come in handy later. So your phone can still get online now? Yeah, but no one else has signal. At best, I can only browse older messages. I can't contact anyone. That's great. Let me see. With his back to me, he pulled out the phone and base station from his crotch. Why are you keeping the base station in your crotch? Brother Guidon, don't sweat the details. I took the phone. I saw a tiny 2G icon in the top left and tapped into the local forum. Sure enough, there were a few messages posted before the network went down. Most were asking what had happened. Only one of them caught my attention. It said the shelter had already sent out an SOS, and rescue was coming soon. Anyone wanting to head to the base for shelter should come now. If rescue's coming, then does that mean we can all be saved? I said nothing. If anything, it felt less simple than that. Our area isn't that large, but it's near a college district, so it's densely populated. There won't be few zombies, and most importantly, traffic had collapsed. In that situation, even with good gear, taking everyone to the base for shelter would still be a fantasy. What are you guys looking at? A shelter says it's already called for help and is getting ready for a rescue. Then what are we waiting for? Let's get over there. Brother Chen had been sharpening his axe, but then he suddenly spoke up. Normal rescue operations don't work like that. They don't force survivors to gather. They lock down the area to stop the spread. Meaning this shelter is lying. Lying? Then why would they do that? To gather survivors. If, by their own claim, the shelter has plenty of supplies, there's no need to gather survivors. They must be after something. They almost fooled me. Maybe it was a trap made to lure in pure-hearted boys like me. That's why they set the trap. We'd better not go. Let's just stay in the store, grow flowers, and play arcade games. Sounds nice. The zombie outbreak's already here, and you're still thinking about games? Still, I can't shake the feeling this shelter isn't simple. Not just internet access. He also wants to gather survivors. More importantly, the post was made a month and a half ago, when the zombie outbreak had just hit its third day, while most people were still panicking. But he'd already built a shelter. Either he's naturally calm and adapts fast, or, like me, he got warned before the outbreak. I'm going to that shelter to check it out. What if whoever's calling people there has bad intentions? Then why go? There's something I need to confirm. If you're scared, you can stay here and wait for me. The supermarket's well stocked. It's way safer than a shelter. I have no reason to make everyone risk it with me. I'll go with you. That shelter does seem off. I'll go with Uncle to find Mom and Dad. I'm coming too. It'll be dangerous there. You're a girl. You're better off staying at the market. No way. You've only trained with Brother Chen for 2.5 days. You can't even play basketball well, and you want to fight zombies? If something happens, Brother Chen has to protect Xiaotong. If I'm not there, who'll save you? What about me? I can't beat zombies either, miss. Shouldn't you protect me too? You eat so much. What for? You can't even beat a zombie and you've got the nerve to say that? Before leaving, we packed some medicine and flashlights. We didn't want to expose the supermarket's location. The backpacks only had instant noodles and sausages. Take this, and don't let anyone see it. And don't go off alone. Aren't there no zombies in the shelter? It's just people, so what's there to fear? I said nothing. When the apocalypse hits, the scariest thing often isn't the disaster itself. It's the collapse of order and the madness in people's hearts. There were still 6 hours till dark. Brother Chen and Molly took point, clearing lone zombies off the street. If we wanted to enter the shelter without exposing our supplies, the best way was to carry zombie heads. Come here, Xiaotong. Don't move. Just stand still. The outbreak's been going this long. I have to learn to kill zombies, or I'll just hold the team back. It was hard, but once I got past the fear, I could barely manage to kill a few zombies and ease some of the pressure on Brother Chen and Molly. But then something went wrong on Chubby's side. His knife stabbed the zombie, but he couldn't pull it back out. He was left unarmed as the zombie closed in on him step by step, and Xiaotong was frozen in place, a sitting duck. Brother Chen wanted to save them, but zombies had him surrounded. He couldn't break free, and his eyes went red with panic. It was critical. I rushed over to protect Xiaotong, but I couldn't dodge in time, and the zombie bit my arm. The others rushed over and killed it. Molly wiped away tears, thinking I was done for. Brother Chen raised his axe to chop off the bitten arm. I stopped him at once and pulled back my sleeve. Don't worry, I had a watch on me. The zombie bit right into the watch. I narrowly survived, but before we could celebrate, more zombies closed in. Brother Chen told the rest of us to go first. Find somewhere safe. He'd handle the zombies. He'd meet up with us later. I didn't argue. We were still too far from the shelter. If we didn't make it before dark, we'd be in even more danger. I made some noise and lured part of the horde away. That took some pressure off Brother Chen. As we moved, I watched both sides of the street. Then I got an idea. At 2 o'clock, there was a garage. The shutter door was mostly down. Zombies couldn't bend their joints enough to get in. We quickly slipped inside and pulled it all the way down. The zombies howled outside, but for now at least, we were safe. I took out a bottle of water from my backpack, and we shared it. Then I got up and looked around the garage. It was pretty big. A brand new sedan was parked in the back. Maybe the owner had barely driven it before the outbreak hit. There were shelves by the wall too, stocked with tools and gas. In the apocalypse, gas is gold. One can could buy you a joke. Molly was searching nearby when she suddenly screamed. I walked over and found a corpse on the floor. Looked like he'd starved to death. To keep him from turning, I drove a screwdriver through his brain. Then I found car keys in his pocket and a phone too. I gave the phone to Fatty. He was the only one with service, and we sat down for a short break. Fatty said, "If zombies can devour and evolve, what do we do? What if we evolve superpowers too?" I told him to quit dreaming. This isn't a novel. Don't count on that in real life. The zombies had sharp hearing. Once they heard us talking, they started slamming the door again. If this keeps up, it'll draw more zombies. Brother Chen probably can't. Then, looking at the car beside me, I suddenly had an idea. No clue if it'd work, but we had to try. I started the car. Then carefully drove it out. I parked it sideways, right at the garage door, just like I'd figured. It sealed the entrance tight. Molly asked, "What are you doing?" "You can't drive out like that," I said. "You'll see." Then I found some wire on the shelves. I tied the axe to a broom handle, and when it was ready, I told Fatty to open the rolling door. He had no idea why, but did it anyway. When it was halfway up, I told him to stop. Just like I thought, the zombies' heads were pinned by the door, and the car blocked their lower bodies, so they couldn't get in. I grabbed the extended axe and started chopping at their necks. I burst out laughing. Fatty and Molly were totally stunned. Damn. Egghead bro, you're bug abusing, farming zombies like mobs. Fatty got all excited, took the axe, swung once, and a whole row dropped. He was having a blast. Molly came over worried and asked, "This won't hold for long, right?" She was right. The sedan was low to begin with, and zombie bodies kept piling up on the ground. As the pile got higher, the level of their necks kept rising too. If we raised the rolling door any more, the zombies might crawl in. There were only 2 hours till dark. Brother Chen still hadn't come. We couldn't wait any longer. We lowered the rolling door and started planning. After dark, zombies get twice as deadly, so we absolutely couldn't stay outside. I checked the map earlier. The shelter's nearby, and we've got a car now. We can drive there in half an hour easy. I left a mark by the door earlier. Brother Chen should see it. Do we wait here for him? No, we go pick him up. Huh? The garage is surrounded by zombies. Even if Brother Chen gets here, he can't get in. Search the garage, take whatever's useful, then go get Brother Chen in half an hour. A month into the outbreak, everyone was fleeing and gathering supplies, but we were collecting zombie heads, circling around a red pickup with zombies right behind us. The heads chopped off by the axe dropped straight into the truck bed. Once we got enough, we drove toward the shelter. Half an hour later, we reached the shelter zone. It was obvious there were way fewer zombies here. We barely saw any on the way. Soon, we found the shelter gate. A white box truck was parked at the mall entrance. Back doors open, with people sitting inside chatting. When they saw us, they jumped down at once, gripping bats and coming at us hard. "What do you want?" I said we were here to join the shelter. One of them pointed at the tire. "You gonna trade that car?" "No. We killed zombies. We've got plenty of zombie heads to trade, yeah?" In the apocalypse, if you want into a private shelter, you have to trade something valuable, or prove you've killed 10 zombies. Confident in their own strength, they barely glanced at the pickup full of zombie heads. Then their eyes landed on Molly, all sleazy. She instinctively hid behind me. Heh, the shelter doesn't take women or kids. Sticking with this pretty boy won't help. Why not beg us to? If we're feeling nice, we'll take you in. But when you posted online, you never said no women or kids. So what? Got the guts. Leave right now. The guard at the gate was loud. People in the mall heard it and came out to watch. There were women and kids among them, so they were clearly lying. Just like I thought. This shelter wasn't as kind as it looked. But before we figured out what this place was really like, we shouldn't piss them off. I forced a smile and said, "We'll cover whatever supplies or zombie heads those two need to turn in. Please, man, just let us in." The guy, disappointed, backed into the container and said to the other one, "Big Head, your turn. Take them to see teacher." This guy called Big Head led the way. On the way, he couldn't help bragging. "You came to the right place. In this shelter, there's water and power. As long as you've got enough playing cards, not only will you eat and dress fine, we'll even carry a TV over so you can watch the game. Too bad my TV broke ages ago. What do you mean by playing cards? You'll find out soon enough. All right, thanks for leading the way, man. Kid, you sure know how to play nice." These two were just gate guards. No way they had much say. The teacher they mentioned was the real boss. But why call him teacher? Was the shelter's leader actually a teacher? A few minutes later, we got inside the shelter, and what I saw there stunned me. They'd redone the mall's clothing stores, restaurants, even the milk tea shops. They'd turned them into rooms with beds inside. Some even had curtains for doors. There were men and women in the rooms, all staring at us curiously. Even stranger, the mall escalators were still running. What the hell? The power's been out forever, so how are these still working? And not just the escalators. The lights and all kinds of appliances had power too. This didn't feel like survival at all. It felt more like people had settled down to live here. As we rode the escalator up, I saw this place had 8 floors total, and every floor looked about the same. Only the 7th floor was different. Besides one furniture store, everywhere else was boarded up. Big Head took us to the furniture store entrance and said, "Teacher should still be resting. You wait here." We waited about 20 minutes. The door opened, but a woman came out instead. She was tall, in a red dress with perfect makeup. She looked totally out of place in a world full of zombies. She glanced at us and said coldly, "Come in, teacher is waiting." Today was the 45th day since the zombie outbreak, and I'd taken refuge in a shelter. To my surprise, supplies and food here had to be traded for by killing zombies. One zombie head got you 1 playing card, and 1 case of instant noodles cost 20 cards. A case of water cost 22. A bag of sausages was 5. "Boss, are these sausages fresh? You messing with me on purpose?" "Yeah, I am." I looked at the 64 playing cards in my hand. I traded a whole truckload of zombie heads for them before I came to the shelter. Right now, in my bag, there were still some chicken legs and bread in the bag. Enough to last a while, but we still had nowhere to stay, so I checked the price list. Renting a clothing shop actually cost 40 cards. That meant killing 40 zombies. But compared to real goods, it really wasn't that pricey. Buying or not? If not, move along, kid. Can you make it cheaper? You're charging way too much. Zombies aren't that easy to kill. If you can't afford it, that's your problem. Go kill zombies. Quit bugging me. I didn't set the price. The shelter manager did. The shelter manager? I'd seen him. A man in a tang suit. Every playing card had his personal stamp on it, basically the shelter's currency. Everyone had to kill zombies to trade for supplies or get kicked out. I had enough cards, so I rented it for 40. I also traded for half a case of instant noodles and half a case of bottled water. The shop we rented was on the 3rd floor. The clothes and mannequins were still on the shelves. When the apocalypse hit, nobody wanted that stuff. As soon as we went in, we locked the door and drew the curtains. After a quick cleanup, we split the room into 2 areas. Molly was a girl, so she stayed on one side alone. Chubby found an electric kettle in the room, perfect for boiling water, which solved our sleeping problem. The noodles and water we traded for were also delivered to the door. They even thoughtfully sent us a few bowls and chopsticks. After a long day, we sat at the table and ate instant noodles, bread. Who would have thought killing zombies could get you supplies? If we'd known, we'd have brought all those zombie heads we cut off by the garage. Too late for that. Besides, we didn't know what the shelter was like before we came. We had a lot of people, and 1 box of noodles wouldn't last long. We still had to find a way out to kill zombies. Like it's that easy. On the drive here, the closer we got to the shelter, the fewer zombies there were. Obviously, the people here had already killed them and traded them for supplies. In this situation, if we wanted more zombies, we'd have to go farther out. But daylight was limited. If we didn't make it back before dark, it'd be very dangerous. Besides, it's not like we really needed shelter. Once we figure this place out, we'll go back to the supermarket. Everyone nodded, but right then, someone suddenly knocked on the door. Brother Chen cautiously peeked out. "Brother Chen, who is it?" Hadn't seen him before. A man with glasses, around 5'9". "Hi, I live next door. Saw you just moved in, so I came to say hello." Seeing no bad intent, we opened the door. The man smiled and handed over a bottle of Lao Day. He said before the outbreak, his family ran a convenience store, and the shelter had a rule. Anything you find outside, you hand half over to the shelter. You get to keep the other half. Even though Lao Dia used to be everywhere before the apocalypse, In times like this, one bottle was worth a lot. He had to be after something else. I got straight to it and asked what he wanted. Just say it. I heard you have a car. Can you? So he wanted to borrow the car? Sorry, but gas is hard to find now, so we don't lend the car out. I started to shut the door, but he panicked and blocked it. No, I don't want to borrow the car. I just want to team up with you to look for supplies. I know a small supermarket that's hidden and hasn't been found yet, but it's a bit far. We'd need a car to bring the stuff back. I can lead you there. Just give me a small share. He didn't look like he was lying, so we let him in. Where's this supermarket you mentioned? If it's really out of the way, how did you find it? Guai Danjay looked at his thin frame. He clearly wasn't good in a fight, and definitely wouldn't go far out to kill zombies. So there was even less reason for him to find some hidden little supermarket. What Chubby said made sense. To be safe, we asked a few more questions. He said, that supermarket was in their housing complex. It had no license, so there was no sign. It was hidden inside a residential building. Mostly, the residents shopped there. Very few people knew about it. He answered every question honestly, and that eased my doubts. In the end, Brother Chen and I decided to go with him. Today was day 46 of the zombie outbreak. We only had half a box of instant noodles, half a case of water, and a few nearly expired loaves. Luckily, we found a hidden supermarket in the complex that still hadn't been discovered. We planned to follow Li Dong from the shelter the next day and haul the food back. After a quick prep, we went to bed early. Early the next morning, Brother Chen woke me up. Li Dong and his wife were already waiting at the door. It was my first time seeing Li Dong's wife. She looked pretty young, around 26. Not stunning or anything, but calm and gentle. She was holding 2 meal boxes with rice and side dishes inside. You guys are up so early. We were worried you wouldn't have time to eat, so we made these. It's a long trip. If you don't mind, just have a few bites. When I took the meal boxes, I saw they were still warm. Li Dong and his wife lived in the snack shop next door, so they must have had cooking gear. Thanks, sis-in-law. Thanks, Brother Li. It's nothing. My husband's a scaredy cat, so today, I'll have to trouble you two to bring him back safe. Of course. We'll get ready and leave in half an hour. Hey, Li, this pretty boy is your backup? Quit struggling. Why not kneel and call me big bro? I'll help you take care of your wife. This kid doesn't need to suck up to some baby-faced pretty boy. Li Dong clenched his fists tight. His eyes were red with anger. The shelter got supplies by killing zombies, so strength ruled there. So naturally, trash like Liu Hu showed up. Hey, pretty boy over there, what are you looking at? I saw Li Dong grinding his teeth in rage. But when Liu Hu turned his anger on me, Li Dong held it in out of worry. Forget it. They outnumber us. We'll be at a disadvantage. Brother Li, it's fine. You stay and protect your wife. Brother Chen, looks like we'll have to eat in the car. Haha, no problem. Eating in the car gives us a zombie view too. As for you over there, I really want to crowdfund you a mirror. Otherwise, you can't see your own face, yet you still go around grossing people out. That's just unfair. You've got a death wish. Liu Hu blew up and came charging with his fist raised. But before he could even see my move, my dagger was at his throat. His lackeys tried to help, but Brother Li stopped them with one swing of his axe. I had nothing better to do before, so I trained with Brother Chen in grappling for 2.5 days and learned that real fighting is about being clean and fast, ending it in one move. This musclehead looked strong, but he moved recklessly. You could tell he knew no technique. He just had brute strength from the gym. Sure enough, when a knife was at his throat, the musclehead froze on the spot, shaking all over. Hey, the shelter doesn't allow killing people. If you really kill me, my teacher will throw you out. Oh yeah? Then I just get thrown out while you lose your life. Want to test that? I pressed lightly and drew a thin line of blood on his neck. Please, big bro, I was wrong. Spare me. You did something wrong, but I won't make a big deal of it. But at least apologize to them. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I was out of my mind and offended sis-in-law. I didn't know who I was dealing with. I apologize. It's not that serious. Get up already. After dealing with Liu Hu and the others, I told little Fatty to watch Molly and Xiaotong, and Li Dong's wife stayed with us for now. Then Brother Chen and I each took a backpack. We headed out with weapons and rations. I drove and Li Dong guided from shotgun. Brother Chen ate him back. There were more and more zombies on the road. 2 hours later, we reached the weird little complex by Kangyu Supermarket. The outbreak was only a month and a half ago, and this place was already abandoned. Severed limbs and rotting bodies were everywhere. Road barriers had been smashed apart and tossed aside. Zombies wandered aimlessly. The obvious supermarkets had long since been looted clean. Luckily, this hidden store had no sign at all. From outside, it looked like an ordinary room, but once we pried the door open, it was a whole different world inside. Everything on the shelves was neat and organized. There was even a storeroom almost full of stock. This was enough to feed us for months. To keep anyone else from finding this place, we loaded every box of supplies into the car. We were getting ready to haul it back, but the car filled up fast. Then I got an idea. I found some bedsheets and spread them out. We piled all the food on them and made one big bundle after another. Then we took apart a shelf, leaving only the bottom layer with wheels, and tied it to the bar behind the car. At last, we loaded the bundled supplies on it and dragged it straight back to the shelter. We took almost everything from the store: rice, flour, sausage, canned food, and some seasonings. I don't smoke, but I still took the lighters and cigarettes. Those make great trade goods. Li Dong asked curiously. Why not make a few more trips instead of clearing it out in one go? I told him we only had one shot at this. Every obvious supermarket for hundreds of miles had already been picked clean. We could get these supplies only because the place was hidden. Once we took one load and headed back, someone would tail us right away, hoping to get a cut. Li Dong got it. We had a lot of supplies, so we drove much slower on the way back, but luckily, we made it safely to the shelter. The two guards saw our car full of supplies. Even the roof had a huge bundle tied to it. They were stunned, practically drooling. There was so much stuff that everyone in the shelter came over to look. The three of us stood aside while they counted it all. Soon, Datu hurried over with a whole group behind him. The one in the Tang suit was the shelter manager, teacher. That's them. They brought all this back. Since this shelter was founded, you're the first team to bring back this much in one trip. Right. And if I remember right, you two only joined the shelter yesterday, and today, you brought back a full load. That's even rarer. I smiled politely. I wanted to see what he was really after. I value talent, and I'd like to invite you two to join my search team. The pay is 200 playing cards a day. You two won't refuse, right? The search team was the highest-ranking team in the shelter, hand-picked by teacher. He chose the most capable people to search for supplies. There were veterans, martial arts coaches, and supposedly even gangsters. Of course, it wasn't just fighters who could join. Professors and brainiacs were in too, like the one who built a generator for the shelter. On the surface, it was called a search team, but really, he'd gathered all the top brains and fighters under his control. It was obviously his private army for ruling this place. Li Dong helped find supplies too, but this guy didn't even look at him. It was obvious he was after me and Brother Chen. What was he really up to? When I didn't answer, he didn't push me. But the big guys behind him all started closing in on us. Brother Chen reached for the axe, but I stopped him. If we fought now, we'd have no chance. I could only agree for now. I'd heard rescue teams get great perks, always wanted in. Just never had an in. Now that teacher's inviting us, of course we won't say no. Ha 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 ha. Ah, good, good. Once he left, a lot of the crowd dispersed too. Only the woman in red by teacher's side stayed, sizing me and Brother Chen up. Brother Chen, you think maybe she's into me? We brought back so much stuff. Even after handing half to the shelter, the rest was enough to feed us for months. Li Dong said just giving him a quarter was enough, but I still gave him half. Back at the clothing store, everyone was happily sorting supplies when Liu Hu came to find me and Brother Chen. Teacher asked me to tell you two the search team goes out tomorrow for supplies. Meeting room in 12 hours. Wait, you're on the search team too? Of course, I'm a gold medal trainer. I bench 350. Usually nobody can beat me. Last time, little bro, you were just too good. I didn't catch it, so that's why I lost. Almost there, so I won't keep you from resting. Liu Hu spoke loudly, and Molly and the others inside heard it too. I heard all the nearby supplies have already been picked clean. Tomorrow, we'll definitely have to go farther. If we can't get back before dark, it'll be dangerous. It's fine, let's eat first. We've still got 12 hours before the meeting anyway. If something feels off by then, we bail, get out of here, and go back to the supermarket. 12 hours went by fast. Brother Chen and I grabbed our weapons and went to the meeting room. The lights were off. There were 40 or 50 people in the hall. A screen was hanging on the wall, and on it we could clearly see a map. And when we learned today's mission, Brother Chen and I were stunned. This was the 47th day of the zombie outbreak. In the shelter, a dozen people were gathered, discussing something. The leader pointed to a spot on the map and said, "According to intel, this is a warehouse with a huge stockpile of supplies. There are about 50 people inside. Most are elderly or children. Fewer than 20 are adult men. Our force is more than enough." Brother Chen and I looked at each other. Never thought our first job would be stealing other people's supplies. But thinking about it, in the first days of the apocalypse, all the nearby supplies had already been looted. If you want to survive, you can only take from others. I just didn't know what they'd do to the old people and kids in that warehouse. Brother Chen lowered his voice and asked someone nearby, "If you take their supplies, what happens to the people there?" "Obviously, we kill them. A bunch of useless cowards who can't even hold on to supplies. What? Bring them back and feed them." He said it so casually, full of contempt for human life. Brother Chen's eyes blazed, but given the situation, he could only glare at him. "What are you looking at?" "I'll gouge your eyes out." He deliberately raised his voice to threaten Brother Chen. A lot of people turned to look. Teacher, who was leading the meeting, noticed the commotion too and asked what was going on. "Teacher, the new guy's some kind of justice hero. Looks like he wants to play savior." Seeing that, Teacher walked over to us. His eyes were cold, but he didn't scold us. He just smiled and said, "David, I think you've misunderstood. Misunderstood what? You didn't kill people for supplies? I admire your sense of justice, I really do. But have you thought about this? The zombie outbreak wasn't random. Survival of the fittest, the strong over the weak. That's just how nature works. The zombies are just another round of selection. The strong, the ones with power and force, are the winners. Since you two survived the zombie outbreak, you're obviously smart too. I figured you'd get what I meant. Even if he dragged out evolution to force an explanation. But I also knew now wasn't the time to openly fall out. I said, if that's the case, then the people in that warehouse have lasted this long, so they've clearly got something going for them too. If they asked the shelter to take them in, you wouldn't refuse, right? He was very reluctant, but in front of everyone, he still wore that fake righteous mask, naturally. But then, we can take them in, but we can't give them housing for free. Everyone in the shelter uses supplies and labor to trade for food and a place to stay. They're no exception. He agreed to take them in, but not house them. That meant those people had no supplies and nowhere to stay. How's that any different from moving somewhere else to die? Nice wordplay. But we'd already forced him to keep dozens alive. If we pushed back again, we might not survive it ourselves. I stopped Brother Chen from protesting, and in the end followed the search team toward the warehouse. The shelter sent 2 container trucks. Each truck had 20 people, and the teacher didn't come with us. After an hour and a half, we reached the warehouse. Brother Chen handed me a baseball bat, said it was standard gear before departure. 1 for each person. There wasn't a sound around the warehouse. The clean ground by the door showed someone really was living here. Nearby zombies caught the scent of living people and swarmed over. But before Brother Chen and I could move, the others had already swung a few times and cleared them out. The rolling door was locked from inside, and forcing it open wasn't easy. One of them took the lead, walked up to the warehouse, and pounded the rolling door. Listen up in there. I'll count to 10. If you still don't open up, that's on you. But when he finished counting, the door still didn't open. He cursed angrily. He raised his bat and started smashing the door. Hit it, all of you. I don't believe we can't break this damn door today. The second they heard that, everyone crowded over and started smashing it. Even with so many people, the warehouse door was reinforced. After half an hour, all they'd done was dent it. There wasn't even a sign of it breaking. If we still couldn't get it open before dark, we'd be in danger. The zombies get stronger at night. They'd tear us apart. I stepped forward and said, how about I try? You? You gonna get on your knees and beg the people inside to open up? Scattered laughter broke out around us. At your pace, it'll take at least 5 hours, and with your stamina, maybe longer. The boss said, make it quick. Get the supplies and head back. If we don't make it before dark, will you take the blame? One Eye thought for a moment. Fine, you do it. I want to see what kind of idea you've got to make them open the door. They stopped smashing the door and stepped back. Only then did I shout toward the people inside. We're from the shelter on Commercial Street. The mall's huge and we've got plenty of supplies. We've taken in lots of people looking for shelter. There aren't many of you. If you want to be safe, you'd better come with us. After I finished, it went dead silent around us. There didn't seem to be any movement inside. Pretty boy, your plan doesn't look so reliable either. I ignored him. I kept speaking inside. You may have food here, but with so many people, it'll run out someday. And all the big and small stores nearby have long been emptied. Even finding supplies is a problem for you now. Better join us. Let's figure out how to stay alive together. After I said that, a deep voice finally came from inside. Are you really just here to save people? Not. This time, our main goal was collecting supplies. Saving people is just a side thing. We have 2 trucks, 40 men, all grown men, all armed. There's no way you can hold this warehouse's supplies. As for joining the shelter, that's your call. What are you doing? Why not say we're here to help and trick them into opening up? One Eye was clearly pissed at what I said. Let go of my hand. You want to fight? I'll take you on. Fine. The brat Shao Kun. One Eye was just about to throw down with Brother Chen when the warehouse door suddenly moved and the shutter rolled up.